Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I want to talk about something that I've been doing for a while now, and it's online freelancing. Now, online freelancing is something that I took up years ago, over 6 years ago, and in the past 3 years alone, I've been able to clear multiple six figures doing online freelancing, working from home, being a stay-at-home mom-ish. That's what I've been able to do in the past few years. So when I started out in online freelancing, I was broke. I was working a 9 to 5. I was living check to check. I didn't even have a child yet. It was just me and my partner. And we were both working. And while I was working, a friend of mine had started freelancing online, and she was doing that full time because her job had made her redundant. And so once she started doing it, I was like, okay, I was watching, I was interested, but I wasn't really paying it any mind. I was working. And then I decided that I needed to supplement my income, and I wanted to do something that would not take away from my job, the work that I had to do, and wouldn't take up all of my free time by having to run from one job to the next. And it's a little harder to do a part-time job where I live because running from one job to the next is almost impossible. But I saw that as a viable way. I asked her, and she gave me the name of the platform. And I went ahead and I applied, and I started applying for jobs. When I started working online 6 years ago, I believe I was making something around to $5 an hour. It wasn't a lot in my first few jobs when I just started, but that extra $100, that extra 150 was helping a little bit in my day-to-day life. So from there, I grew to a point where I've had jobs that have paid me as much as $25 an hour. I've had fixed contracts that have paid me significantly. And so I've been able to grow from that point to this point now. So I'm telling you all of this to let you guys understand two things. One, you do not have to go full-time and quit your job right away when you start freelancing. I was part-time for almost a year before I went full-time. And two, you also are not going to get what you want overnight. Just like everything, freelancing, you're basically an entrepreneur, I guess, because you work for somebody, but you also work for yourself. You work on your own time. So understand that this is something that's going to take some time for you to build. Now, in terms of freelancing, I've helped so many of my friends over the years get into freelancing full time, and a lot of them are still having success now. They've been able to meet great clients that have not only advanced their career and their income, but have also built great relationship with these clients to the point where now it's like they're friends. A lot of them have been able to grow in this industry, and it's so great. It's so cool to see. And until the pandemic hit, I didn't really realize how many people were struggling with the concept of online work, how many people were struggling with the concept of working from home. I didn't realize that it wasn't the norm. I guess it's because I have such a small circle of people and most of them know are freelancing and working online, that I didn't even really notice that it was a problem. So now that I do realize it's a problem, I wanted to do a video. It's going to be a 3-part series. This is going to be a 3-part series, and this is part 1 on working online, the basics of what you need to know, how to get started, that kind of thing. Just basic tips so that you can go ahead and get started and have a leg up, because you have information from someone who's experienced, someone who has been making the money, someone who has been doing it. All right. So the first tip I want to give you guys is the platform that you choose. Let's say you choose, I'm going to talk about platforms that I'm familiar with. I'm not familiar with a lot of the platforms out there nowadays. There are lots to choose from, and there are great reviews on all of them. Do your research before you start on a platform. The platforms that I'm used to working on are Upwork, Guru, and I've hired contractors on Fiverr, but I've never worked on Fiverr. So I'm going to talk about all three because I have some experience in all three. With Upwork, that's where I've made the majority of my income. I've had company. I've had, for example, I was working with a company before Upwork called Freelance. I had clients on that platform who I used to work with that contracted me independently after Elance was no longer, because Elance is no longer around, right? So I have independent clients, but they came from that platform. I brought them over. So developing the relationships like that is easy to do on Upwork if you want long-term contracts, if you're looking to grow your income steadily. Fiverr, I would recommend for somebody who is into graphic designing, into something that's a skill that they can continuously recycle. You can even do writing on Fiverr. I would recommend it for somebody like that who is okay with having a lot of clients, paying them, and building up their full-time income that way by constantly getting clients. But if you want to build relationships, I recommend platforms like Upwork. You can use other platforms like Guru. Guru is great for both long-term and short-term contracts. I've done a lot of writing contracts on Guru. So that's where I got the majority of those from. So from all three platforms, I've been able to build that six-figure income. So the first thing you need to do. So what do we learn from this? What we learn from this is that we keep our options open. We keep it broad. Don't narrow yourself down to one platform. Don't narrow yourself down to one category of work. If you're in customer service, can you be a VA? Can you do social media management? Can you run ads? Can you do copywriting? Don't forget that you need to build the skills that you need to use online. It's not the same real world skills that everybody else is using. So once you've chosen your platform and you know exactly what you want to do online, the next thing you want to do is start applying for jobs. Now, the application, that's a whole kettle of fish. To get to the application point, you need to find the clients that you're looking for. This is the mistake that I made in the beginning. This is why I was getting those low-paying contracts for so long, because I was not finding the kind of client that I wanted. In order to do that, you're going to have to use the filters on these platforms. Now, I know that Guru has filters, Upwork has filters, and Fiverr does. I'm not sure about the other platforms. I'm going to talk about the filters that are specific to Upwork. Now, on Upwork, you can choose different kind of filters so when you're searching for jobs. I personally make sure that there are three things that these are necessary. Everything else, come and go. You can change them up depending on the category that you're in and what you're looking for. But there are three things that have to happen for a client to even have a conversation with me. The first thing is that they have to be verified on Upwork. Their payment has to be verified. I need to know that if I do the work for you, I'm going to get paid. I'm covered under Upwork protection because they already have your payment information on file. It's even an added bonus if you've already hired and paid contractors on Upwork before. That's even better. And I always go through those contractors' reviews of those clients, because even though these clients they review you too, they give you a rating as well. Contractors are able to rate the clients as well, and I want to see what these contractors have to say about you, because I'm looking for a great client. I'm not looking for something that's short term. I'm not looking to get into an argument. I'm looking for people who are going to work with me and align with what I want to do. So you have to be payment verified. You also have to be paying within the range that I want. Now, there are different ranges on Upwork. Some clients will specify exactly the dollar figure that they're willing to pay. Others will put in a category of either beginner, intermediate, or expert level. I'm in the expert level. That's what I apply for. But when you're just getting started, you can start in beginner. You know, it's not bad to start in beginner. The pay range isn't bad. Upwork doesn't allow clients to pay under $3 an hour. So as long as it's above that, the beginner level is great. Beginner pay ranges depending on the category that you are in. So for customer service, I think beginners go up to $7 an hour. And while in other categories like accounting, beginners go up to somewhere around $12, $13 an hour. So it depends on the category that you're in to know where you want to fit in. So I choose the level of pay that I want the client to be willing to pay me. The third important thing is the hours. If I'm working full-time already, or if I don't want any full-time contracts, I'm going to specify that I want part-time, less than 20 hours a week kind of contracts. And I said there were three, but there's one more. The fourth thing that you want to make sure that you set and you are clear on is how you want to get paid. Now, you don't have to get paid hourly. There are also contracts that pay you a fixed income. This is a dollar figure that you guys agree on for a set amount of work that you guys agree on, not necessarily valued in hours, but in terms of the value of the work that you present back to them. So you can decide if you prefer to be on a fixed income, what that rate is, or hourly. I like to be paid hourly. I like to be paid hourly for my time. I don't necessarily like to be paid for the value of the work that is done, because you and I can value it differently, but different strokes for different folks. You know, if you're doing something like writing, maybe a fixed income is okay because the quality of the work that you provide is at a certain level, and you're okay taking X amount of dollars for whatever you write. You know, for me, I prefer hourly, right? So we're moving on to the next step in the process, which is the application. Now, once you found the perfect client, this is the next step that will get you noticed, that will get you landing jobs, that will get you building long-term relationships with these clients. It's your application. I'm going to talk about this in part 2 because it's a very detailed step. I'm going to give you examples specific to Upwork, and I'm also going to give you examples that are general and broad that you can use on any platform. So tune in next week for part 2, and I'm going to have part 3 dropping next week as well. So as soon as one comes out, the next one comes out, so you're ready to go, ready to set yourself up for the new year and applying for jobs online. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comment box below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, do all the things that we do on YouTube. And if you have any questions, I'll answer them. Bye.